Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, X-Wing players, and anyone who's potentially interested in X-Wing. Welcome to our channel. My call sign is BatMando, and today we are going to be covering different maneuvers or specialized maneuvers. Now, as you can see right here, I have a empty movement tray or movement template tray. Normally it is full with everything here, but as you can see just right there, it's throwing glare into your vision right there. So I decided to show it to you empty so that you can see that, yes, we're going to be dealing with all these templates, and also we're going to be showing some specialized maneuvers. Now, since the majority of you, I would assume, that are watching this video are possibly novice to intermediate, I'm going to go ahead and start off with some of the ships that you would find in the Galactic Empire starter set or in the Rebel Alliance starter set. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and start showing you some specialized maneuvers. So we're going to go ahead and show you the basic specialized maneuver. I mean, here's your typical dial. It has your white maneuvers, your blue maneuvers that help clear stress, help clear depletes or strains or various other red tokens. And then, of course, you have the normal white maneuvers that you're allowed to do and still can have an action afterwards. But then we get into these red maneuvers. And in which case, like for instance, this one is referred to as the K turn. Now, this one is a 4K turn. So you would take your ship, take the 4 movements. Now, you may recall that I said something about tournament legal templates. So this would be considered a tournament legal template because it does have the line down the center. So in which case, I just wanted to go ahead and show that off while I was thinking of it. Okay, so now, this is a 4K turn. So you start with the ship going in this direction. Then, of course, when you flip it right on over here, it's going to be 180 degrees from where it was. Now, that being said, it needs a stress token because it just completed a red maneuver. So we'll be talking about that here in just a little bit, because now that it's stressed, it can no longer take an action. So this is your typical 4K maneuver. Now, let's go ahead and say that you didn't have this stress, that you are about to, again, dial in, except that this time we're going to dial in the 3K right here. Now, in which case, instead of using the 4 template, we're using the 3 template. Seems rather simple, yes? So now we go ahead and pick up the base, bring it over here, flip it 180 degrees, and then we put our stress mark right there, and there you have it. Now, this is typically what you can do with your TIE fighters for K-turns. They don't have a lot of other specialized maneuvers beyond that, because you can see the dial right there. A lot of white, a little bit of blue, and then just 2 specialized maneuvers with the red. So now let's go ahead and talk about one of the maneuvers that this ship has that this one doesn't. So you know that it has a 5K turn. This one's highest K turn is going to be a 4K though. So we'll just go ahead and back that up so that you can see there is your 5K turn. However, it does come with another turn or another specialized maneuver that this one does not in its natural state. So, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and perform a 3 Segnors loop, also known as a sloop, or a common name that you hear it called, etc., etc. So now we're going to go ahead and do a 3 sloop, and we need to make certain that our dial shows the correct one here. So as you can see, we went ahead and put up a 3 sloop. Then we're going to go ahead and move this on over here, flip it around, and then guess what? It's going to have a stress for that maneuver. Now, the pilot that I'm currently using right now is Tycho, sometimes referred to as Rage Tycho or Psycho Tycho or Psycho Rage Tycho, because Tycho's card essentially says that as long as you have 2 or fewer stress, you can still perform an action. So in theory, ladies and gentlemen, you can see Psycho Tycho go ahead and do a 3 sloop and then follow it up with a focus, even though Psycho Tycho is already stressed. Now, that being said, that is the sloop maneuver. we're going to go ahead and do a small comparison here. You see where that puts that one. Let's go ahead and see where the TIE Fighter would end up after a 3 straight. So you saw exactly where they started, and now you see where they ended up. So in which case, a little bit of a difference between a K-turn and a sloop in terms of positioning. So how cool would it be, though, if you could get a TIE Fighter to go ahead and do the 3 sloop? How would you be able to do that, you might ask? So you may recall I said that the TIE Fighter cannot do a sloop in its natural form. So in which case, you would need to find the piece that actually equips this card, or you would need to find a kit, one of the boxes, one of the models that actually has precision ion engines. I'll bring it a little bit closer so you can see it right there. Now, in which case you get to use this twice, and it says before you would execute a speed 1 through 3 K-turn, which, by the way, it has, you would be able to turn that, or you can spend a charge to execute that maneuver as a sloop. So instead of going the 3, you now can do, or the 3 K-turn, you can do the 3 sloop. Now, granted, you're still going to be stressed, but at the same time, you also now have the ability to go ahead and go this way instead of your opponent thinking that you're going to do the typical 3 K-turn. So we'll go ahead and put this one back. So that is some of the specialized maneuvers that you can see from both the A-Wing and the TIE Fighter. So A-Wing, TIE Fighter, boom. So now, that being said, now we're going to go ahead and move on to another ship that you will find in either of the starter squadron, or either of the starter squadron packs. So now you have Darth Vader, you have Luke Skywalker. Not that they have any kind of issues with each other at all. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about Darth Vader. Darth Vader has a K-turn just like the TIE Fighter does. So his K-turn is limited to a 4 K-turn. So in which case you see him start right there and then flip right on back over to here, and what do you know? So that's a 4 K-turn. Now, where it gets interesting is the TIE Advance X1 has what is referred to as a Tallon Roll. Now, this looks like your typical 3 hard, and it is, but with the Tallon Roll still using the same template, you are going to start here. Then you are going to end up with a 180 of your base, but you have just essentially moved over a lot. So in which case, let's go ahead and say that Psycho Tycho ended up here for the attack before Darth Vader gets a chance to move. And let's also predict that, or let's also assume that Vader predicted that Psycho Tycho was going to be there. So in which case, Vader goes ahead and moves here, but we're not done yet. You'll notice that let me go ahead and bring this a little bit further up so you can see. You'll notice that we need to go ahead and put the center line to the center line here. So center line of the template to the center line of the side of the base. Now, when we do that, you will notice that right here, you have a choice when you're doing a Tallon Roll, because you can move forward so that your center line is at the bottom of the template, or you can move back so that your front of the base is here, but the center of the side line, center line here, is at the top of your template. Now, here's the thing. You may be thinking this doesn't really affect that much. You can be right here and still be possibly in the arc of Psycho Tycho. You could, well, obviously you're going to be in range 1 right there as well, but you can also back it up and be further out of the arc as in possibility, because you have to remember during tournaments, you can't actually measure this at this point in time. So we take a look. I'm guessing that rolling back further is a better idea for Mr. Vader himself, because it looks like he is not going to be in arc of Psycho Tycho, whereas if you moved forward, there is a better chance that he would be. You're still getting the range 1 bonus, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, we got to make certain that you are not going to be taking return fire at that point in time. And as always, BatMando out.